All right. Welcome everyone to this LinkedIn live demo on the Power of Enriched Data presented by Tiimely. I'm Anthony Obbs and I'll be running today's session. And while we wait for a few more people to join, give me a thumbs up in the comments if you can hear me. Maybe tell me where you're dialing in from. And hello to everyone watching the replay. The chat is also where you can ask questions and we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end. So this demo should take around 15 to 20 minutes. So thank you very much for being here. Today, I'm going to show you the power of Tiimely's data enrichment and how Tiimely's consolidated data capabilities can enable your business to grow through automation while your people get time back to focus on the things that they really want to do, which is engaging with your customers. I'll first start with an overview and then we'll jump into the technology and show you what the automation looks like. So if you're someone that uses data on a regular basis or requires a serviceability assessment, then xapii might be right for you. So I'm Anthony Obbs, Customer Solutions and Implementation Manager here at Tiimely. I work with our partners and customers to introduce automation into the credit assessment process and enable growth opportunities without adding more resources. So this includes things like technical solutioning, integrating with our APIs, and then ongoing insights and support. I started my career in banking at one of the big four banks around 18 years ago. And held many different roles associated with credit decisioning before transitioning into the exciting fintech space with Tiimely back in 2021. I've also worked here at Tiimely in our credit team, which means I know exactly how valuable this tool is. And now I'm focused on our SaaS business, which I'm really enjoying, working with all sorts of different companies with many different use cases as well. I wanted to just highlight ISO 27001, SOC 2 Type 1, and B Corp are some of our key accreditations that we're obviously really proud of. And these are really important when we're talking about customer data and security. Now let's take a look at a recent survey from KPMG. So in January this year, KPMG released the results of their Keeping Us Up at Night survey, which highlighted that 53% of business leaders see digital transformation and optimization as their #1 challenge. Not just now, but also for the next 3 to 5 years. So let's look at what enriched data is to Tiimely and how it can help aid digital transformation. Where do you start and how can Tiimely support you? Well, one of the key areas that is still highly manual today is the credit assessment process. Paper-based, spreadsheet calculators, data entry, which lead to human errors and really unscalable inefficiencies. So you need to start by digitizing data sources and leveraging AI to automate processes that can be scaled as needed across your digital transformation journey. And today I'm going to show you how to leverage xapii to enable that for you. So we know that enriched data is raw data that has been enhanced with additional context, insights, or intelligence to make it more valuable and actionable. So for Tiimely, this means transforming financial data from multiple data sources into deeper income and expense insights, improving lending affordability assessments, and enabling faster credit decisions with greater accuracy and transparency. Let me show you what that looks like from input to processing and then final outputs that you can interact with. So Tiimely solutions create efficiencies through exception-based assessment, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. This data-driven automation is done by enriching data where we can match what did the customer state in an application form versus what was detected in the data. And what we do is actually flip the credit assessment process on its head. So typically, when you're assessing a loan or an application, you'll need to do somewhere between 30 and 50 business rules or tasks that need to be validated. xapii uses an a data agnostic approach to things like we can accept data from open banking, OCR, screen scraping, or BYO. If you're a bank, you can also pipe your account and transaction data through and ingest it to xapii, which just means more options for your customers. Following the automated data consolidation and digitization, the data is then enriched with 8+ years and millions of transaction data points ready for an automated financial validation. And then xapii will then provide insights into income regularity and gross annualization, debt balances, limits, one-off transactions, and repayment schedules. And what this does is it adds layers of credit context for an automated financial validation view of your customers. And automated financial validation outcomes are sent directly to serviceability calculations for faster driven decisions. Now, before jumping into xapii and show you how it actually works, where does this fit in the credit assessment journey? And so you can see on the screen there, we need to consent first from the customers before we get their data. Then we need to actually collect it. Once we've collected it, we'll enrich it, which is what you're going to see today. And then that will help you and inform you to make a faster decision. All right, I'm just going to jump over to the demo. Okay, maybe we'll start with this one. So welcome to xapii. This is what xapii looks like. It's obviously a really nice and easy to use UI that makes it easy to interact with your customers' data and their applications. You can see some basic information here about the application, customers' names over here, and then we've got some income, expenses, asset, liability positions. Down the left-hand side, we've got sort of a menu bar, and then these are the accounts that have been ingested into this application. And now what you can see here, these green and red tiles and this one purple tile, this is the automation at play. So what this has done is it's got 30 rules in this case, which is all configurable to your exact credit policy for financial and serviceability outcomes. It's taken what did the customer say, and then what did xapii detect when it did all its enrichment and augmentation of that data? What did it detect in the data? And did they match? So what did the customer say? What did we detect? Did they match? And then you can configure a tolerance. So you might want to go for income, we want to go plus minus 10%. If what the customer said versus what we detected was plus minus 10%, we're going to attribute that result straight to serviceability. Now, I might come into this application here. So let's come down to accounts. So what you can see here is all the different accounts that have been linked for this joint application. On the right here, you've got a source column, and you can note that you've got OCR, a mix of OCR. And in this case, we've got a mix of OCR and open banking. But you could have Alien ODS screen scraped data coming in, or even piped in from a bank as well. And it doesn't matter how many data sources you add, xapii will all do the enrichment so that it's uniformed and easy to interact. So effectively, if we just have a look at this statement here, this was uploaded via our OCR capability. If I click on that transaction, that account number, you can see what those transactions look like. If I go back and have a look at one that was sent in via open banking, it's identical. So what are some of the things that the data enrichment give you? You can see down the right-hand side, there's these flags. And these flags are all configurable to what you want to look for in the data. And it can be things like sports betting and gambling, or buy now, pay later, things like that. So if you come down to this transaction view, all of that data, this is the raw data now. And I can simply click on high risk. Actually, let me get rid of that account number that was pre-selected. So now I can see all the high risk transactions that have been flagged. So gone are the days where you need a highlighter through a PDF statement. You don't need to do that anymore. You now have xapii. So xapii is able to give it to you straight away. And if you want to configure something else, if you could configure Bunnings if you wanted to, and it could flag every time this customer shops at Bunnings. And then the other things that you can do are things like adverse transactions. So you can see here, we've got things like, okay, maybe there's a home loan that's not listed, or there's an overdrawn fee, and it would give you a quick insight into the customer's behavior. So for this person here, if we took the home loans out, and this is all test data as well, but if there was one overdrawn fee, you're probably not going to be worried about it too much. If there was a whole page of overdrawn fees, then you might want to consider that. Okay, coming back to the accounts, I think we'll go to income now. So this is how powerful xapii can be. For Liam here, who works at Stellar Solutions Corp, There's the salary credits. We've got 14 transactions. It's only irregular because when I click into it, you'll see some of the dates are not exactly 14 days apart, just due to public holidays and pay cycles, but you can see all the transactions are the same. So what has xapii done? Effectively, xapii has validated Liam's income without needing human intervention. So the net per month salary is 10,700. xapii then takes that, does all the tax calculations and annualizations to get it to that annual figure. And so we have a detected gross annual figure for Liam at 180,157. Now, in the application form, Liam said that he earned 180,000. So that's obviously really close, but again, that tolerance is all configurable as well. And therefore, if you hover over this, it says the stated amount and frequency matches the actual amount and frequency. So tick, that's all done now. The second part to this specific credit policy has a requirement that if you're not going to use pay slips or tax return or notices of assessment as income validation, then if you're going to use statement data, you need 180 days or 6 months minimum to satisfy that business rule or that task. In this case, we've got 195 days that has been linked by Liam, therefore tick again. So Liam's income is done. If we go over to Ethan, and obviously there's some other detected rental incomes here and things like that, which xapii will also do for you. But if we come over to Ethan now, you'll notice that Ethan said he earned 85,000. Detected in the data was 78,900. So if I go to these tiles, because of the tolerance set, that income is also validated. But what has thrown a red tile is Liam only linked 120 days worth of salary credits. Now, if for whatever reason you had the delegated lending authority that said, I'm actually, if I view it with my own eyes and I'm able to click on these transactions and see them, see the consistency, see where they came from, then maybe under my delegated lending authority, I am able to approve anything that I've seen over 90 days. So I could say here, I've actually validated 120 under policy or something like that. And if I save that, that tile now turns purple. And we can see back here in the dashboard that we've got another purple tile here. And so within the space of a minute or two, took longer because I'm explaining what we're doing, both of those incomes are now validated, which is really powerful. If you think about how long it takes people to manually validate income, it's a lot longer than what I've just shown you then. Don't have time to show you everything, but I do want to show you expense, our expense capabilities as well, or enrichment. And from that raw data, xapii will determine what is the category of this expense, give you a breakdown so you can see it. We also then, the green tile here will match what did the customer state, again, 3,700. What did we detect in the data? 3,400. Is that within the tolerances and is it above HEM and whatever other credit policy configurations you've got? So effectively, this tile is done. So income and expenses are all done now for this customer or this application in the space of a minute or two. I only have to do one task to get that income validation done. And then what you can do as well, you can step into all these transactions. If you needed to workshop with a customer, you can very quickly go, okay, this payment here is just a once-off for whatever, whatever homeworks were being done or something like that. It's not going to be something that they pay every month. What happens is automatically xapii will do all the workings to get a new monthly figure. And then those figures will then be attributed to serviceability. So if I come back here, click on check serviceability, what you'll notice now is that this was what the customer stated. And so based on what they told us, what was their serviceability position? Now that we've done some validations, they're actually in a better serviceability position. They've got a higher net monthly surplus. They've got a higher NSR and a lower DTI. So There's so much to go through on this page. I'm not going to have time to do it all today, but these are the results of the automation that has been given to xapii. So you can see you've got net eligible income. And just quickly, eligible income are things like what percentage of that income can be attributed to serviceability. So you might have rental income that gets shaded at 80%, or bonus income in this case. Government benefits are 100%. So it's 100% accurate to your credit policy configurations. Pause there, stop there and head back to the deck. All right, so I know I said a lot then, and there's a lot to take in that, but we'll just quickly go over what we've discussed today. Customers are already leveraging these solutions. So we're already enabling our partners, both big and small, and they're taking advantage of xapii's automation. Our products are tested in market, and the return on investment has already been proven. So what have we done? We collect the data. So xapii's proprietary data model is purpose-built to deliver affordability and serviceability decisions, retrieve data on behalf of consumers, and provide secure document upload links and manage integrations with third parties. Probably one thing I didn't show you today was our document uploader, which also has auto-redact capabilities, looking for things like tax file numbers and removing them off tax returns and notices of assessment. So that capability is also there as well. We spoke about enrichment, and xapii identifies and flags income types, sources, expenses, adverse transactions, arrears behaviors, undisclosed accounts, and much more to give you a really full picture of the customer's position, but in both raw data form and then in an enriched form. And then we've got detection, so quickly understanding an applicant's income and expense regularity. You saw how quickly I was able to look at the income and then determine the income validation done either by automation or by me stepping into it. You can see debt balances, repayment schedules, one-off transactions, and more. And just assess with more confidence because it's right there served up for you on the screen. And this is being used for many, many years now. And it's continuing to get better and better and faster. And then we've got decisions. So assess based on declared, detected, and validated. So we talked a lot about what did the customer declare or state, what did we detect, and then what was validated. And that will unlock accurate affordability and serviceability outcomes for you, which is going to make your credit assessment process a lot faster without the manual work that we see today. I'll pause there. We'll go for any questions. How easy is it to integrate with xapii? Really easy. So we're an open API company, meaning we've got our API docs are available for public. You can see them on our website now. And effectively, we've already done many integrations with different CRMs like Salesforce, Dynamics, HubSpot as well. And so you can choose to either integrate with xapii via a third party and use our APIs to return results back into a CRM or a workflow tool, or you can integrate directly into xapii and use xapii as in the UI if you want to. But very simple to integrate. Lots of tried and tested integrations that we've done, and we're here to support you for that entire onboarding journey and then into BAU from there. How much time can this save during assessment? So from the research that we've done, and as we've continued to grow, it's around 8 times faster than a typical manual credit assessment process. So if you're needing to do things with pay slips and raw statements and things like that, xapii will make it 8 times faster. And you can clearly see there, I mean, if you've ever done a credit assessment using PDF statements, you know how long it takes to look and try and find things and make sense of stuff. You can see today how simple that was. So it's obviously going to save you time. So around 8 times more efficient than a manual process. Cool. So Scott, you've got, are the rules just focused on verification of a customer's financial position based on financial data sources, or does it consider a customer's credit risk and define rules based on information from credit reports? Great question. Great question. So right now, today, it's just doing the financial verification. So income, expenses, liabilities, and assets. However, in the future, we're currently working on this at the moment. We will be able to, firstly, we'll be able to pull in the credit report from the bureau, and you'll be able to view it as like a PDF version. But then the next phase of that is to do liability automation off that. So it'll get the information from the bureau, go, okay, customer said we had a $500,000 loan. Equifax bureau says, yep, they've got a $498,000 loan. Is that within the tolerance? Yes, it is. Tick, done. So in short, not yet, it's coming. Thank you for the question, Scott. And does it just work for home lending? No. So there's many different use cases out there, things like auto finance, hardship. Basically, it can even be done for insurance as well. Anywhere that you need to understand a customer's financial position and get a serviceability outcome, an affordability outcome, then xapii can be used. So lots and lots of different use cases besides home lending. Home lending was just where we started, but we're growing and going in all sorts of different directions now from a use case perspective, which is really exciting. That's part of what I'm really enjoying at the moment. All right, so next steps. If you like what you saw today and you want to learn more, please reach out for a demo. There's so much more to talk about within xapii. We really just touched the surface on data consolidation today. So you can either email me directly or message me via LinkedIn, and we'll be happy to take you through a demo. So thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully we'll see you on, oh, we got one more question. Sorry. Thank you, my trusty sidekick, Alex. Are the rules logic defined in isolation, or do they have complex logic to not trigger override when other condition rules are met or not met? Customers are relatively has a relatively gambling expense, but subsequent capacity surplus, so less of a concern. Yes, so you can create all sorts of different hierarchies and rules and business rules and logic within the back of xapii. So I think what you're trying to say here is that they've got gambling expenses, but they've got substantial capacity to fund that. So xapii's not going to make in the case of that, what xapii will be able to do for you is you can choose to ignore those flags. Those flags are not going to stop the serviceability or the financial validation number of the income or expense going to the serviceability result. So if you see that there's lots of gambling, but the serviceability is fine, you just play on. And if that fits within your risk appetite, you just play on. So the logic, it's not going to be logic that's going to stop a transaction, is going to stop or create a stop to the financial serviceability calculation. It will just throw a rule, but you can, if you don't want it, you can hide that rule, or you could create some logic that says, you know, if serviceability is above, if NSR is above 1, but there's gambling there, or if it's above 1, hide any high risk. You can do that as well. I think that answers your question. Sounds like we need to talk to you, Scott. Reach out. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks a lot. I hope to see you on the next one, and have a great day. Bye for now.